Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about A Cure for Wellness. Now, this movie is directed by Gore Verbinski, and I've only I haven't seen all of his movies, but I have seen in The Ring, which I really liked, and it's on this channel. Uh, Rango was really good, and Pirates of the Caribbean, and he's made movies that I genuinely liked, and watching the trailer, I really wasn't sure what to expect from it, but after I walked out of the theater from this movie, I was extremely disappointed. Uh, to be honest, I can't really tell you what the plot is because it's so confusing, and I I'll start off with the positives. This movie has really good cinematography. That's my biggest positive with the movie. Great cinematography throughout the film. It's well edited as well, and that's something I usually don't point out is the editing. But after seeing some movies, I think it's about time. And another thing I liked were a couple of the performances from, I believe his name is Jason Isaacs, and he plays the villain of the movie, and the girl Hannah, the actress, her name will be right here at the bottom of the screen. Those two are the best performances in the movie, but I'll get into the negatives in just a moment. Another thing I liked was the villain Jason Isaacs' character, Dr. Heinrich Vollmer, I believe is how you pronounce the character's name. He was very intimidating throughout the movie, and the character of Hannah, she was also nice. I would say that she's the best part of the movie. She's not given much to do, unfortunately, but I do think she was good. And Dandy Han, he's fine in this movie. If he's an issue you're going to have in this movie, then he's just going to be an issue you have with this movie. So overall, he was fine. I didn't hate his performance. His character is unlikable, but his performance is just fine. Let's jump over to the negatives, and that is the story. It is not. Oh, that is not a good story. I would try to describe the plot for you, but the movie doesn't make any sense by the end of it. Well, the first two acts, if you saw the trailer, then you know basically the first two acts. The third act, wow. I won't spoil it for you, but when you see the third act of the movie and you think about the plot, you realize that the entire movie doesn't make sense. Another thing that I found distracting were a couple of dream sequences, I guess, because they show like a lot of imagery with eels, and I guess eels are threatening in this movie, but it's not the eels themselves that are a problem, it's how they're used. And there's a scene in the movie where Dandy Han's character Lockhart his toilet keeps going dunk, 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 like keeps moving, like making sounds, and he doesn't know what's up, and it takes him three times to do this. The first time he just ignores it, second time ignores it as well, kind of. And the third time he lifts the lid or whatever off the toilet, and he sees like 20 eels in his toilet. When he sees that, he freaks out and jumps over to the wall, and a split second later, they're gone, and he looks down into the toilet, and he thinks he sees an eel, and he just rips the toilet out of the ground, and nothing, and he's just in the corner of the room, just, I don't even know. And the scene ends, and it's never brought up again. There's another scene in this movie where involving eels again, where this is kind of spoiler territory, but don't worry, it's never brought up again ever. Where Lockhart is like trapped and can't move, and Doctor, Jason Isaacs' character, he has this like big tank that has like 50 eels in it, and he puts a tube down Danny Hahn's character Lockhart's throat all the way to the top of his stomach, like right here, and then just puts eels down in here, and it's never brought up again. You don't know what happens after that. Like, he just has eels in his stomach. Like, I don't know what's happened. And you might think that I'm spoiling the movie for you. Don't worry. It doesn't matter. You're not going to watch this movie if you take my word to heart. I'm not saying I totally hate this movie. I'm just saying there's a lot of bad things in this movie. And those are just a couple examples. The biggest issues are in the last act, which I'm staying out of because I cannot handle that. I cannot. Now that I've dived into the story, let's talk about the characters. Aside from the two that I mentioned, Danny Hahn's character Lockhart, he's kind of rude and you don't really like him, and there are arguments in which you don't necessarily need a likable protagonist, but that just helps in a way. But this movie, it pulled me out, and it just made me think this is a movie, and I'm not seeing people, I'm seeing characters and actors, and it just doesn't work for me. Because at the beginning of the movie, with his character introduction, he's on his computer, and he gives the guy his ticket, and the guy replies, "Enjoy your trip." And then he replies, "Seriously? You don't really like this character at all?" So that doesn't work. The story doesn't work either. There's one good character, Hannah, as I mentioned earlier. She's the best part of this movie. And that's it. If you're expecting a horror movie out of this, then you're going to be disappointed. If it's mystery and suspense, I can see some scenes in which it's fine, but it doesn't work. So, in the end, A Cure for Wellness, by the way, the title doesn't really work either for this movie. Almost nothing in this movie works. The characters are awful, well, for the most part. There's just some confusing story imagery that just baffles you. It's like, what is going on? And they don't really explain it. It's kind of boring to watch, actually. There are a couple entertaining scenes for the most part, but you're not really going to be able to enjoy it as a whole. And the dialogue in this movie isn't great, and this isn't something I usually tap into or talk about, but there's nothing really memorable about this movie. The dialogue doesn't work. The pacing makes this movie feel like 4.5 hours long. And this movie is 146 minutes long, otherwise known as 2 hours 26 minutes. And that's with credits. So I'm going to give A Cure for Wellness, whatever that is, a D+. Thank you for watching, as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, be a part of Foley Nation. Don't forget to tell me what you thought down below. And have a great day not watching A Cure for Wellness.